Specialist in School District 6, and I would like to thank all of the students and the chaperoning teachers for taking the effort both at your schools this year and here to come to Heritage Fair once again this year for this very worthwhile and educational event.
What is your name?
Jillian Shepherd.
Okay, and what school are you from?
I'm up from RES.
Alright, and briefly, what is your project about?
My project is about chestnut trees and Anne Frank.
Okay, is there anything in particular that stands out to you about your project?
It was really amazing. I didn't know that Anne Frank wrote about a chestnut tree in her diary until I read it.
What is your name?
Bridget.
Okay. What school are you from?
Rothesay Elementary.
And what's your project about?
It's about the animals of the forest in Canada. It's about the porcupine, the beaver, and the moose.
Okay. And what school are you from? What is your project about, just briefly?
Our project is on the Irving Nature Park, and we're just showing the history on it and what's happened and how nice it is to have this wilderness in the middle of the city.
And what is your name?
My name is Gregory.
Alright, and what school are you from?
Hampton Middle School.
Okay, and briefly, what is this project about?
It is about the history of the Canadian National and Canadian Pacific Railways.
Okay, is there anything special that you would like to talk about?
Well, in 1818, the CPR received $25 million and 25 million acres of land to build their railways. And then in 1919, the Canadian National Railway just started buying up unused railways and started putting their trains on them to create Crown Corporation.
Okay. And what is your name?
Patrick.
And what school are you from?
QMS.
Okay, and briefly, can you describe what your project is about?
Well, I did mine on George Edward King, which was born in St. John, and then he was the second and fourth Premier of Nouveau-Brunswick, and then he went on to the Supreme Court of Canada right there, and then the Supreme Court of New Brunswick, and then the Supreme Court of Canada, and he was also on all the assemblies, like the Assemblée Legislative, and then he was in Parliament and worked there, and so he was also a lawyer. He had his own practice, and so he did a lot to help the community, and he made the change that to make public schools instead of religious schools. So he made public schools, and I think that's really important.
Okay, and briefly, can you describe your project?
Well, I did my project on Nouveau-Brunswick, and I covered the influential women and how they got to the right to be a part of the legislature and vote in provincial elections.
Okay, and what is your name?
My name is Justin Stewart.
And what school are you from?
Chris Pamsis Middle School.
Okay, can you just really briefly describe what your project is?
Well, what my project is about the Second Battle of Ypres. And what the Second Battle of Ypres is, it's basically proving that Canada as a nation, like it was one of the first battles in my opinion, to prove that Canada as a nation was a superior fighting force. Because Canada was often overlooked as a military powerhouse because Canada at that time was just basically coming into Confederation because it was 1915, we were a young country, and we weren't expecting much of.
Heritage means to me about something special in Canada that represents our country or our state.
Things that happened in the past, like family and stuff.
Heritage to me means something that is important to how we live today, and it has a strong belief of how we got to where we are today.
I think it's our history, and I think that's really important because we need to look back and see how other people reacted to things, and so we can make the same, we can look back from their mistakes, and so we can make it better.
It really means, I don't know how to explain it, but I think heritage is your own history and how you live every day.
What I think of heritage is the history that is not to be forgotten, because it is important to all of us, because it affects all of us, because you're supposed to learn from your mistakes, and that's what I think heritage helps with. Because with the Second Battle of Ypres, without this battle, we wouldn't have been established. Personally, I think to be put into the Battle of Vimy Ridge. That's my personal opinion. Because from this, we gained such a respect that we were labeled by the enemies and our fellow allies that we were a fighting force and we were assault troops that could get a job done to them that was assigned.
Heritage. I guess for me, it's I think of our province, of our city, our ancestors, and I know where my homestead is 5 generations. Our home is 150 years old, so there's a lot just in my family.
So I guess heritage for me is like for Linda and probably everybody. It's yours. We always say, "What's your nationality?" And we're Canadians first, but then we have ancestors that come from another country. And in Canada, it's a cultural mosaic, and it's made up of people from around the world, and it continues to be, I hope, invitational of people coming here, continuing that, and people have to. Heritage teaches the past, but it also helps kids to understand what's going on now.
So you know the years of 2000.